From Monoculture to Permaculture Currencies, a glimpse of the myco-economic future by Jeff Emmert, a self-professed mycopunk. Jeff is a mycelial explorer of alternative economic potentialities, formerly trained as an engineer studying signal processing systems. This is an article which I found on Medium just the other day that made me say, hold up, rewind, and come again. Now you are saying, wait a minute, I thought this video was about artificial intelligence. Well, it is, that is true. However, I love fungal intelligence so much that I am going to read the entire piece by mycopunk Jeff Emmert, as it demonstrates the sharp contrast between artificial intelligence and the fungal intelligence that informs humans and hence the things we design and use. Please consider 3 things as I go through this article. First, the structure of mycelia, which we see in our garden soils wrapped around the roots, in the mushrooms that grow from the soil that we fry up to eat, and the fungus that is found in koji, which cohabituates with the rice plant and which powers good miso and soya sauce. Secondly, since we are descendants of the fungal kingdom, think about the design of the human organism, and thirdly, consider how the gut microbiome, where, for example, the koji fungus resides, controls the signals sent to your brain, skin, immune system, and gut. At the end of the article, think again about artificial intelligence and what it can do for you as a tool to make you more connected, fluid, and dynamic within your culture in the infinite game of life. Here we go. A fungal turn is indeed taking the world by spore. Although if we connect deeply enough with the prehistoric transitions of this planet we call home, it becomes clear that the rich tapestry of life's collective history has always been stitched together with the hyphal threads of the humble mushroom. Since the dawn of life on this planet, and especially in times of great geological shift, fungi have played a pivotal role in the networked redistribution of life-sustaining resources on a global scale. Everything alive today owes a debt of gratitude to the upward trophic flows of energy resulting from the infinitude resource-sharing interconnections among mycelial economies over time immemorial. For millennia, we understood this economic interconnection intuitively. For most of humanity's time on this planet, we existed inseparably within communal ecosystems of redistribution and respect for nature, in alignment with the ebb and flow of the seasons. When our indigenous ancestors, or when indigenous ancestors walked the lands and their lands and settler lands freely, they counted among their kin not only their sisters and brothers of the flesh, but also their brethren of fur, feather, scale, bark, and hyphae. Like the mother trees to intelligently redistribute their photosynthesized substance among their hungry kin through underground mycelial networks, indigenous peoples commonly lived within egalitarian networks of mutual aid and solidarity with each other that ensured that no one's basic needs went unfulfilled. But then, not long ago, a mere blink in evolutionary timescales, our collective imagination became clouded with the ethos of separation, where the living thread of mycelia stitched things together. Rationalist scientism encouraged us to cut them apart, to dissect and analyze them in isolation. Armed with these ideologies, old empires leveraged new energy sources and exponential communications technologies to become larger, faster empires, always seeking to impose dominance beyond their borders. This was often achieved through the overt violence of war, although perhaps even more effectively through the invisible and more insidious violence of an imposed monoculture of colonizing, fill in the blank, currencies. In fact, the history of modern economics goes hand in hand with the history of imperialist expansion, right alongside the oppression of diversity and indigenous voices. The invention of Homo economicus spawned the irreducible rational actor whose natural motivations to take care of the individual above all else inevitably scaled up to undermine the health of the collective, threatening our continued existence on this planet along with it. There is no such thing as society equipped someone unimportant on their mission to disempower the collective. But this is just a false egregore that those in power would have us believe in order to consolidate power in Westphalian state monoliths. When we succumb to the beliefs that there is no alternative but the horrendously inequitable systems we live in, that becomes our shared reality of apathy and disempowerment. But a simple glance to nature shows us the folly of these words. Aside from the neoliberal interpretations of Darwinian competition, painting nature as red in tooth and claw, on closer inspection it becomes clear that cooperation, redistribution, and mutual aid are far more dominant forces in sustaining the web of life. Among the most ubiquitous examples of positive sum economics found in nature is that of the pluralistic and polycentric mycelium network. What more natural phenomenon to emulate in the design of effective resource allocation strategies than the sustenance provided via mycorrhizal interconnections between fungi and the innumerable life forms with which it intimately intertwines? What more important ability to learn than that of the saporific fungi, the great composters of nature, such that we may decompose our failing neoliberal systems and upcycle their nutrients into whatever comes next. The time is upon us for the highest leverage exploration of all, that of our liberation from the hubris of imperialist economics and its drive for endless growth at all costs. As for what comes next, we have ample precedent in the literature of the commons to draw inspiration from. Eleanor Ostrom spent her life studying the production and maintenance of common pool resources in local communities, acting on their behalf, and distilled a set of principles that were necessary to facilitate and sustain those productive social systems. Ostrom also identified several key challenges inherent in the scaling of those systems to larger groups beyond the Dunbar limit, where social bounds and agreements between members weaken beyond effective levels, typically 150 people. These challenges are even being explored in the application of novel distributed ledger technologies to address the shortcomings of large-scale commons-based peer production. If we listen and act in service to nature and each other, these new fungally inspired tools may just offer us the opportunity to turn away from the disharmony of neoliberal economics and re-embrace the common sense of natural ecologies with their redistributive flows sustaining healthy mutualism and solidarity among their members. In that space we create for ourselves, we may just have the chance to remember that we once again rely on the interstitial fascia between all living things, a network mesh of mutual economic support, and breathe a sigh of relief. Together, our opportunity lies in overgrowing extant state fiat monocultures with a diverse and polycentric mix of permacultural currencies, mitigating the crises caused by today's cancerous economic model through a profusion of emergent, networked, and adaptive local ecologies that allow people to provide for their needs on their own terms. Perhaps there is no more natural path to collective empowerment than one grounded in the simple wisdom of nature's oldest evolutionary algorithm, the ubiquitous mushroom. After all, the revolution is and always has been mycelial,